Hello, my name is Linda McGrane. Do you ever wonder how you can make a real difference? Recently, I was asked to speak at the National Kidney Foundation Gala about my experience of having my miraculous kidney transplant. And at the gala, people asked me two questions that I felt maybe deserved more time to answer. So this is my attempt at doing that. The first question was, how come I care so much about people that have kidney transplants? Well, because I was one of them. And when my doctor told me I needed a kidney, I was completely blindsided. I had been an intercessor at my church and I had prayed for other people's healing my entire life. And I saw God show up in ways that defied every medical explanation. So when I found myself sitting on the other side of that conversation, I was thinking, this is not my plan. But it was God's plan. From the very beginning, I cried out to the Lord. He told me something that surprised me. He said, I will heal you, but it will be a process, not an immediate miracle. A process, not the answer I wanted, but it turned out to be the most important word he could have given me. Because that process didn't just heal my body, it healed things that I didn't even know were still broken. There were wounds inside of me, wounds that I was completely certain I had totally dealt with, but the Lord had to surface them and resolve them before my full healing could come. I was in a doctor's office, seeing a new doctor. Years before this, my husband and I had been betrayed by someone that we had trusted implicitly. I thought that was completely over. I had worked hard at forgiving this person, totally and completely. But when this new doctor came into the room, he was a spitting image of the man that had betrayed us. I couldn't think. I couldn't hear anything he was saying. My body went into total fear. The Lord gently surfaced unforgiveness that was still inside my body that needed to be resolved before he could heal me. He wasn't disciplining me. He wasn't angry with me. He was preparing me. And that's the part that most people fighting kidney disease never hear. Here's what they hear instead: fear, overwhelm, a diagnosis that sounds like it defines them. But a diagnosis is not your identity. Kidney disease is not who you are. God did not create you to be defined by what is attacking you. And I have learned that your words carry weight, heavy weight. So don't speak of your illness as if it is you. You are not your disease. You are someone that God has had plans for since the beginning of time. Jeremiah 29:11 says, For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. So why do I care deeply about this community? Because I have walked the whole road. I know what it feels like to stare at something that you're not sure you can survive. I know the fear, the uncertainty, the moments where hope feels like a luxury you cannot afford. And I know what it feels like on the other side. When you look back and see with absolute clarity that every hard step was God's hand guiding you towards something greater than you could have ever imagined. That's what I want every person in the transplant process to know. He's not taking you out. He's setting you up. He's preparing you for the plans that he's placed inside of you before you were born. Plans so good that the enemy will do anything to stop them. People that are going through this process right now need to have somebody to share the painful parts, not just the testimony at the end, but in the middle, the scary, disorienting, faith-stretching middle, because that's where most of them are living right now. And that's why I care. Because he healed me, as he says in Acts, God is no respecter of persons. He will heal you. The second question was, how did I not give up? Well, people ask me that question, and honestly, it's a really good one, because I wanted to give up many times. When I first received the news, I was in complete shock, the kind that hollows you out. But even in that hollow place, I went to the Lord immediately, and he spoke very clearly. He would heal me, but it would be a process. This road was too hard, too long, too uncertain. I couldn't do it by myself. Two anchors held me when nothing else could. First, God has a covenant with us for healing. In Exodus, he tells us, "For I am the Lord who heals you." He cannot lie. His word is not a suggestion, it's a promise. In Numbers, he says, God is not a man that he should lie. Second, just before this, my husband and I had received a massive new assignment from the Lord. And I knew with everything inside of me that he never gives an assignment without providing every asset required to complete it. He hadn't called us to quit. He had called us forward. Then there are times when God removes the gift. There were 2 moments in this journey when it appeared in the natural that God had placed a kidney in my hands and then taken it away. Either one of those moments could have shattered me. But let me tell you what they revealed about the Lord's character instead. The first was a cadaver gift. Months before, I had gotten a routine urinary tract infection and been put on medication by a doctor who wasn't my regular physician. My daughter was home from medical school and we were on vacation together, just having a little time. And when I got home, my regular doctor switched my medication. Without my knowing it, that change left me still on the original antibiotic when the kidney offer came in. 2 days, and they still would not clear me for surgery. From the outside, it looked like a cruel twist of fate. You could have blamed the doctors, you could have blamed the timing, you could have even blamed God himself. But I've walked with him long enough to know that when he removes something from your hands, it's always to replace it with something better. Then sometimes there's a miracle in the no that he takes away. Then came James, a client of my husband's, a man from Michigan. He had called and said he felt called by God to donate his kidney to me. We drove up for a weekend, sat with him face to face, and made sure that this was truly his heart. He was genuine, and the match seemed perfect. Surgery was scheduled. We were ecstatic, and then Monday morning, the phone rang. James told me he would still honor his word, but that his sister, the only family he had left, could not bear it. She had nursed him through a horrific car accident where he had almost died, and to her this was unthinkable. The moment I heard his voice, I knew God was closing this door. It was very, very disappointing. I won't pretend otherwise. But I had already seen God's handwriting on the wall enough times to understand that James' willingness had already accomplished what God intended. And here's what the Lord did with James' obedience. He gave James a partner and supernaturally expanded his real estate business in Michigan. He deepened James' faith. He touched his immediate family. His entire church was affected. One act of yielding to God, even an act that never came to completion in the natural, sent ripples through dozens of lives. That's what I need you to understand about kidney donation. About any act of sacrifice that you offer to God. You don't just affect the life of the person who receives the gifts. You affect thousands around you, people who you'll never even meet. The ripples go further than you can see. When Michael Noy stepped forward as my donor, everything changed. Not just for me, but for everyone who witnessed what God did. One kidney, one act of faith, one act of obedience, and God used it to touch nations. Women world leaders invited me to write a chapter in a book called Restoration, God Brings Beauty from Ashes. This was about my kidney transplant journey. This book became a 17-time bestseller. It went to 172 nations, bringing hope to those suffering from kidney disease. So, how did I not give up? I gave up on my ability to figure it out. I gave up on my ability to force the timing, and I gave up on my right to understand every closed door that was closed in the moment. But I never gave up on the Lord, because he never gave up on me. I read the word out loud so that my ears could hear it, and I declared it so that my spirit could receive it. And I waited, not passively, but with the expectancy of someone who knows that what God starts, he finishes. He is faithful, he is gentle, he is kind, and he always replaces what he removes with something far greater than you could have ever planned.